Hey, Shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Kwakadash, Yahweh, who the word only calls God, Yahweh Shah, who the word only calls Jesus. I want to give it up my honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, who has taught me this truth. I want to give it peace and blessings to the Akim across the four corners of the earth to teach this truth. Unless you'd like to do so, it's going to be a quick video. But when the video's edifying, hopefully I can get some from this video, quick video through the spirit, man. I was shuffling. Seeing what I was gonna do a video on, and I was actually reading First Samuel last night, and it got into Doeg and Amalek, and I'm not done with the story, but this is before King David obviously became king. He had men, he had his men with him, and it was back and forth between Amalek and us. You know what I mean? And, Doeg, is wicked, man. You know what I'm saying? And Amalek is all in all is wicked. Scripture said Amalek was the first of the nations. And we know who those Amalekites are. You know what I'm saying? And right now, indeed, they are running the world. You know what I'm saying? They are running your TV platforms, your music industry, your movie industry, YouTube, your social media platforms. You know what I'm saying? It's all majority is ran by Amalek, you know what I'm saying? And that's why the world, and Amalek is obviously, a tribe of Esau, and which we're going to read here. And, it goes to show you that, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So there's nothing that can be produced but wickedness, you know what I'm saying? That's why the people are wicked. Like scripture say, if the king is wicked, the people will also be wicked, roughly paraphrasing the scripture. You know what I mean? So that's why you have niggas and these, everybody else on that wicked vibration. You know what I'm saying? And this is a fucking a demon, you know what I'm saying, that is for and works for the left hand side. That's why he don't know righteousness. He only knows wickedness. He can't do any righteousness. You know what I'm saying? Scripture, matter of fact. Let's see, cause. I think it's in Proverbs 4, call something. Fall. Yeah, Proverbs 4:16, it says, "For they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause something to fall." And this is a man that's hardwired to think like this and hardwired to do such things, man. Okay? Contrary to popular belief, our people want to, hold hand in hand, go hand in hand with the so-called white man, but this is indeed your enemy. You know what I mean? Regardless of if you believe it or not, if you just look at the facts and look at the history, these nations, Esau being that top nation, is as far as wickedness, they are our enemies. But Esau is promised straight destruction, and you got to think like the Lord said, "What Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated." So you got to think like, damn. Esau must be doing some wicked shit and been a wicked motherfucker from the beginning for the Lord to have hatred towards him. So much hate that this motherfucker literally going to be extinct. Okay? So, without further ado, let's get into the scriptures, man. This is Psalms 52:1. It says, "The chief musician, Mashiel, a psalm of David, when Doeg the Edomite came and told Saul and said unto him, David is come to the house of Amalek. Why boastest thou thyself in mischief, O mighty man? The goodness of the Most High endureth continually. Thy tongue deviseth mischiefs like a sharp razor working deceitfully. Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness." Salah. Right? So they love evil more than good. It was an account, if I'm not mistaken, where Saul had Doeg, put the priest to death, man. You know what I'm saying? Saul was bugging out. I mean, he even, sought after a medium. You know what I'm saying? One, basically a witch. When, the Lord wasn't answering his prayers, or, the prophets wasn't really coming to his aid or giving him any messages or anything like that. So, you know what I'm saying? He sought out a medium, which is wicked. Okay? Real talk, man. Okay, it says, Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. Salah. And that's why it backs it up in Proverbs, the 4th chapter. You know what I'm saying? Because these Edomites, they love evil more than good. There's no good in them. There's no goodness in them. Okay? Ain't no goodness in them. That, like, even today, I was thinking about walking around like, damn. You know, we was at the mall earlier today, and I was walking past Abercrombie and Fitch, and all the scandals and shit that's coming out about Abercrombie and Fitch, as far as them being, how can I say this? Pedos. I'm just say that, as far as the owner being, or the CEO being a pedo. You know what I'm saying? You sit there, you think like, damn, these motherfuckers, like, why would they do that? Why would they tap into shit like that? Well, because they're wicked. The practices that they have aren't the practices that we have. We have righteous practices. They have wicked practices. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is, man. And until Jake realize, well, Jake, 2/3 of Jake ain't gonna realize that. But you know what I'm saying? That's why, you know, in that fire, and then he said perils to come before that fire, Jake is gonna be caught up in that shit too. Okay, Lord willing, I'm not. Me and my household, man. Lord willing, we not. Lord willing, you sincere, Akim aren't either. Okay, Lord willing, the Lord have mercy on us, man. Okay, it says thy tongue deviseth mischiefs, like a sharp razor working deceitfully. That love is evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness to lie. And this is who rules the world. They lie. When you go into the, I don't even know if I can say this word, but the T-Mood, right? When you go into that, that's a book full of deceit, right? Full of trickery, full of deceit, full of getting over, right? They show you how to get over. Okay, that's what it is. And they uphold that book as if it's something to uphold. You know what I'm saying? They really think that, oh, that's their scriptures. But when you go into that book and you read some of the laws or some of the shit in that book, you be like, oh, these motherfuckers wicked. But why is the world not saying anything? Because guess what? If you want to figure out who runs the world, figure out who you can't talk about. Okay? 5, it says, the Most High shall likewise, it's like, I'm going to go back to 4. It says, thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. The Most High shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place and root thee out of the land of the living. Salah. So it says what? The Lord is what? Going to destroy them. Okay? Right, I'm going to go down to 7. It says, lo, this is the man that made the Most High not his strength, but trusted in the abundance of his riches, and strengthened himself in his wickedness. And it's evident even to this day. When you go to Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, it gives you all the breakdown of the heathen, man. Give you the breakdown of the mind frame, that yellow spirit, and all that bullshit that they push. Okay? All the bullshit that they push to give you the mind frame of a devil. Okay? That's why ain't no reasoning with this guy at all. Matter of fact, let's just go to it. This was in Solomon 2. And 1, it says, for the ungodly said reasoning with themselves. We know who the ungodly is, right? Esau, okay, and these other nations, right? But really, this is talking about, because, you know, lower level Edomites, man. I mean, y'all still devils and y'all still gonna get destroyed. But some of y'all don't know what the fuck is going on, but you're still wicked. But mainly, you know what I'm saying, you elites, you top banking families, and you people who, you tapped in on the left-hand side, motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? This is your mind frame. It says, for the ungodly said reasoning with them. And this is all the heathen, whether on any level, right? All the Edomites, whether on a small level or a big level, this is their mind frame. It says, for the ungodly said reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of man there is no remedy. It says, neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. When you jump down to 4, it says, and our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance, and our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun and overcome with the heat thereof. For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning, for it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh. Come on, therefore, and let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in like as in youth. And this is that whole YOLO spirit that's pushed, that make you go all out, that they promote this to make you go all out in wickedness. This is their mind frame. 10, it says, let us oppress the poor righteous man, and let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. So they don't have any mercy on nobody. They don't look at the world like how we look at the world. They look at the world like take, greed, 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 greed. That's how they look at the world. We don't look at the world like that. 11, it says, let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Right? And their strength is their law of justice. Okay? That's why they say you want to beat the white man, you got to beat him with his law. But you really can't beat niggas can't beat the white man, because this is not your rest, like Micah 2:10 says. Man, the kingdom, once we're in our, once we're perfect and we, and we are, in the second covenant, then, there's nothing that any nation could even think about doing. 12, it says, therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. Yeah, our doings is completely different from his doings. He upbraided us with our offending the law, and objected to our infamy the transgressions of our education. He professed it to, and this is their mind frame. That's why we don't feel bad for you devils, because this is what the fuck they think, man. Okay? This is what it is. And this is why they try to, this is fuel to their action, so to speak. They're trying to they quick to justify their wickedness. Nigga, you just wicked. 13, it says, he professes to have the knowledge of the Most High, and calling himself a child. Let me see. 12, Slakia. Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. He is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraided us with our offending the law, and objected to our infamy the transgressions of our education. He professed to have the knowledge of the Most High, and he called himself a child of the Lord. He was made to reprove our thoughts. He is grievous unto us even to behold, for his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. Yeah, they can't behold us. That's why they take off videos. That's why they do, all these rules and regulations and IDs for YouTube and all. Man, stop it. Right? They make it hard. You know what I'm saying? But, the family of the word is eventually coming. 16, it says, we are esteemed of him. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from my ways as from filthiness. He pronounced the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that the Most High is his father. So yeah, he's counterfeit. You know what I'm saying? They're not the, those Amalekites, they're not the real people. And, this video isn't just about, this is about all you Edomites, man. Okay? It's about all you Edomites, man. There's going to come a time to where you're going to be no longer, just like it says in Obadiah. Okay? Because you're wicked. The world doesn't need you. Obadiah 1 and 10, it says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob shall Slakia, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Let me jump down. It says, let me jump down to 18. It says, in the house of Jacob shall be a fire, in the house of Joseph a flame, in the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh has spoken it. So it's promised that Esau will be wiped out, just like King David said in Psalm. He's talking to Doeg. These motherfuckers finna be wiped out. Okay? And that's beautiful. Okay? So with that, may alone be those edifying, only I can got something from this video. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakadashim, until brothers keep pushing. On to the next. Shalom.